Hello and welcome to TTV News with some latest event in TayNinhTV province. Ladies and gentlemen, voter meeting of Mr. Nguyễn Thành Tâm, Secretary of TayNinhTV Provincial Party Committee, Chairman of Provincial People's Council, along with delegates of Provincial People's Council, TayNinhT City People's Council, and voters of Ninh Thuận Ward TayNinhT City, take place on afternoons of July 23, 2024. Voters expressed their wishes on handling land dispute, preventing local flooding, upgrading road with resettlement policies.
7 opinions with 8 contents were proposed by voters. Prominently, the effectiveness of the 140 hectares anti-flooding project is not high. There is still local flooding. Voters petitioned the province to reconsider. Regarding the issue of lack of medicine and medical supplies, it's not only makes it difficult for patients to have health insurance cards, but also makes it difficult to mobilize people to continue participating in health insurance. Secretary of the Provincial Party Committee, Chairman of the Provincial Council, Mr. Nguyễn Thành Tâm, informed voters that the province has radically directed the health sector to overcome difficulties and speed the progress in buying products and medical supplies. Up to now, the health sector has basically completed bidding for buying packages. According to the current report, common drugs in the list of drugs 1 and 2 are available.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the morning of July the 24th, the Central Propaganda Department coordinated with the TayNinhTV Provincial Party Committee to solemnly organize a ceremony to receive the Certificate of National Historical Relic status of the Central Propaganda Department of the Southern Department for the period of 1962 and 1975. Participating in the event, the central leaders, there was Mr. Nguyễn Trọng Nghĩa, Police Bureau member, Secretary of the Party Central Committee, head of the Central Propaganda Department. As for the Cambodian delegation, there also was the General Kun Kim, Senior Minister, Vice President and General Secretary of the Cambodian Veteran Association. On the leadership of TayNinhTV Province, there were Mr. Nguyễn Thành Tâm, member of the Party Central Committee, Secretary of the Provincial Party Committee, and Chairman Provincial People's Council, and former members of the Party Central Committee, and leaders and former leaders of TayNinhTV Province through the periods. The National Historical Relic Site of the Central Propaganda Department of the Southern Revolution Department in the period of 1962 and 1975 is located in Tân Bình Commune, Tân Bình District, TayNinhTV Province. Built and inaugurated in 2005. By 2020, the relic was improved, and it is a place that marks events with many historical values actively contributing to educating patriotic and revolutionary traditions for every Vietnamese. Speaking at the ceremony, Mr. Nguyễn Trọng Nghĩa, Police Bureau member, Secretary of the Party Central Committee, head of the Central Propaganda Department, requested that the Party Committee, the government, and functional agencies of the TayNinhTV Province to strengthen their work, educating and propagating for the people from all walks of life to participate in protecting, preserving, embellishing, and promoting the value of monuments, coordinating with the Tourism Ministry and media agencies to connect the monument with other monuments in the province and region, to create a new tourism product so that the tourists and the people can better understand the value, the tradition, and revolutionary history of the nation. And also on the same morning of July the 24th, Mr. Nguyễn Trọng Nghĩa, Police Bureau member, Secretary of the Party Central Committee, head of the Central Propaganda Commission, attended the memorial ceremony and buried the remains of volunteers and professional martyrs of Vietnamese soldiers who died in Cambodia were brought home in phase 2, phase 23 in the dry season of 2023 and 2024. The ceremony was organized by the Provincial Party Committee, the People's Council and People's Committee, and the Vietnam Phalanx Front Committee of the TayNinhTV Province. Reading the eulogy at the memorial service, Mr. Nguyễn Hồng Thanh, member of Provincial Party Standing Committee, standing by Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee, head of the Steering Committee for Searching, Gathering, and Identifying the Remains of Provincial Martyrs, emphasized that the Party Committee, the government, and the people of the TayNinhTV Province deeply remember the great contributions of the heroic martyrs and who have devoted their entire lives to the cause of fighting for the national liberation and doing noble international duty also. The names and glorious victories of our soldiers live forever in time. In Phase 2 and Phase 23 in the right season of 2023 and 2024, with the active support and responsibility of the relevant units of the Kingdom of Cambodia, Team K70 and Team K71 searched, gathered and repatriated the remains of 172 murdered remains, who were officers and soldiers of the Vietnamese Volunteer Army and the Vietnamese experts who sacrificed their lives during the war in Cambodia. And on the morning of July the 24th, the Center began the department in coordination with the Vietnam General Confederation of Labor, organized the gift giving to family facing poverty policies in Tân Bình Commune of Tân Bình District. During the program, the Vietnam General Confederation of Labor donated 100 million Vietnam dong to the Gratitude Fund of Tân Bình District and officers and soldiers of Tân Phú Border Guard Station standing in Tân Bình District. The center began the department donated for 200 million Vietnam dong from a Red Flowers program to support the construction of 4 gratitude houses, 50 million Vietnam dong each for policy families, and gave 50 gifts to policy families and disadvantaged households in Tân Bình Commune. And Mr. Trinh Nhật Quang, head of Provincial Party Committee Smart Mobilization Committee, head of Provincial People's Council Legal Committee, along with the Provincial People's Council Delegation Group and Go Giao District People's Council Delegation, also recently had a meeting with the voters in Hiệp Thành Commune. At the meeting, the voters of Hiệp Thành Commune had a number of opinions and recommendations, such as operating the road from Hiệp Thành Commune to Trung Mít Commune of Vân Châu District, strictly handle the situation of vehicle drivers, participating in traffic running red lights, causing traffic disorder and safety also, and strengthen the fight and prevention of social evils. The singing venues together called the noise affection, affecting the lives of surrounding people. The voters' opinion and recommendations are responded to by the local government leaders and professional sectors right at the meeting. We move to other news, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Nguyễn Hồng Thanh, standing vice chairman of Provincial People's Committee and Delegation of Provincial People's Council and the Ninh City People's Council, just had a meeting with voters of Ninh Sơn Ward of the Ninh City also. During this contact, the voters in Ninh Sơn Ward continued to comment on the such as the situation of coal rising in the residential areas causing environmental pollution in the Trung neighborhood has not been completely overcome and solved. The Melaleuca garden of a household in the residential area near the office of the Ninh Trung quarter caused environmental pollution also, and it is proposed to operate the civilized Ninh Sơn market to facilitate the small traders trading, limit the situation of selling on the sidewalk, not ensuring the traffic order and safety also. The voter opinions were received, recorded, and explained by the leaders of the People Committee of Ninh Sơn Ward and the Ninh City at the meeting also.
Continue the program with other news. Dear audience, the Ministries of Industry and Trade has just submitted a report to the government on a pilot offshore wind power research project, which proposed that the first phase assign state-owned economic risks such as EVN and PVN instead of the private ones.
The Ministry of Industry and Trade believes that some items and works of this type of process are similar to offshore oil and gas projects. Therefore, BVN has an advantage when using available database and resources of oil and gas industry in implementing pilot projects. With another option, Vietnam Electricity Group (EVN) as a unit assigned to implement the capital has certain advantages when taking advantage of experience and capacity in investment, management, and operation of factories and transmission system. This group also has the advantage of not having to negotiate prices because they are also the units that buy and sell electricity.
And recently, the supervision delegation of the Provincial Interdisciplinary Steering Committee on Food Hygiene and Safety, led by Mrs. Trần Thị Ngọc Nương, Deputy Director of the Department of Health, had a meeting to supervise activities of food hygiene and safety in the first 6 months of the year at the Ninh City People's Committee. In the first 6 months of 2004, there was no food poisoning in Taynin City. The entire area took place 11 interdisciplinary food hygiene and safety inspection teams inspected for 843 establishments, of which 3 establishments handled administrative violations with a total fine of 10 million Vietnam dong. Concluding the supervision section, Ms. Trần Thị Ngọc Nương, Deputy Director of the Department of Health, head of the supervision team, requested the Intersectorial Steering Committee on Food Hygiene and Safety of the city in coming time to increase strength and rapid testing of food products circulating on the market. Regularly direct statistical branches and updates the list of management facilities in the area for establishments with the acts of evasion, abandonment, or closure at the core activities for the inspection team. The list needs to be reported to higher management branches. And ladies and gentlemen, the General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng always remembers social policy is a policy for the people, demonstrating the good nature of our policy and regime. Developing and implementing the social policies must always be people-centered. Consider investment in implementing social policy goals as investment in development. Under the direction of the General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng, social security welfare policies have always been implemented by the party and the state and achieved many important achievements also. With 80 years of life and 57 years of party life, having experienced many different positions, the General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng always remembers that he must live and contribute in a way worthy of those who heroically sacrifice for prosperity and longevity of the nation. The General Secretary often reminds himself and calls party members and the people, honor is the most sacred and noble things. In the struggle for independence, freedom, and the nation's bright future for the peaceful and happy life of the people, millions of the nation's outstanding children have dedicated their lives to. Young people are ready to sacrifice their lives for the fatherland, bravely fight heroically and sacrifice or suffer lifelong disability, and the blood and sacrifice of heroic martyrs have adorned the glorious revolutionary flag for our country to bloom independently and bearing fruit freely. Immersed in the advice of President Ho Chi Minh, the General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng joins the party and state in doing a good job of preparing gratitude, joining hands to make the material and spiritual life for the people with meritorious services increasingly better, rise to a fuller and better level. With the ordinance on preferential incentives for the people with meritorious services through the revolution, Directive number 14 of the Secretariat on continuing to strengthen the party leadership for the people with meritorious services through the revolution, from July the 1st of 2024, the standard preferential allowance merit incentives have been increased by 35.7%, and it is the highest increase in the past 20 years. Our party viewpoint is that the economic growth must be associated with the social progress and equality. It can be said that in social security policy, our party places the policy towards the people with meritorious services as the highest policy in the society. The party's guiding ideological views are always evaluated and studied very carefully by the General Secretary, setting very high goals for the People's Party committees in localities as well as central ministries and branches. Also, in the last 3 terms, the General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng has signed 2 important resolutions guiding social policies through 2 periods. Accordingly, Vietnam has become a bright spot when it early committed the United Nations Millennium Goals on hunger eradication and poverty reduction. In the Eighth Center Conference term the 13th, the General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng conducted thus the social development from ensuring stability to stability and development associated with the social development management, improving the people's welfare, ensuring the social security and human security also. The General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng has succeeded and successfully promoted the careers of his predecessors and is also an excellent strategist and architect in the process of building the country during his time in the new era. And ladies and gentlemen, the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry VCCI just coordinated with the relevant agencies to organize the 2024 Agriculture Forum with a theme Smart Agriculture Breakthrough from the Fifth Technology. With the results achieved in the first 6 months of the year, the agricultural sector confidently raised the yearly agricultural forestry fishery export target to from 57 to 58 billion US dollar, 02 to 03 billion US dollar higher than the government target, when it's announced from the beginning of the year. However, experts say that Vietnamese agriculture will not be able to continue competing on the basis of low-cost, labor-intensive, and resource-based. Smart agriculture makes the maximum use of AI applications as well as large applications to rate the site consultants and experts are essential. Integrate green transformation and digital transformation together. The era of renewable energy and the regenerative economy is a big topic that countries in the region are discussing, but it seems that in Vietnam, plowing has not yet become a common responsibility and awareness of the community, especially the farmers. From a banking perspective, we also hope that ministry and branches will continue to issue frameworks, legal regulations, or regulation and guidelines related to the fields of high-tech agriculture, legal clearance, as well as financial institutions participating in agriculture in the field of green finance. Experts from that to form a smart agricultural production chain applying science, technology, and innovation, it is necessary to have a close connection between agricultural enterprises and scientific and industrial organizations and enterprises. For that is the process about implementing, receiving feedback, and continuous adjusting to constantly improve a green, circular, and sustainable agricultural ecosystem.
Dear audience, after 10 years of implementing Directive number 40 of the Directorate on strengthening the party leadership over social policy rated, the Bank of Social Policy's TayNinhTV branch has improved credit quality, meets people's aspirations, contributed to achieving the goal of sustainable poverty reduction, building new rural areas, and ensuring social security.
Up to now, the total loan balance in TayNinhTV has reached more than 362 billion Vietnam dong. The outstanding loan balance increased by more than 219 billion Vietnam dong compared to 2014, the time of implementing Directive number 40 of the Secretariat. Credit scale has been expanded and credit quality has been improved. Policy credit capital has supported more than 26,000 poor households and policy beneficiaries with loans, helping nearly 1,000 households escape from poverty sustainably. Supported more than 3,000 pupils and students in difficult circumstances to get loans, creating jobs for 8,200 workers. Among them, there are many people who are from ethnic households, specifically Mixed mass households in Quarter 2 War 1 who receive referential loans in 3 installments from 20 billion to 30 then 50 billion Vietnam dong to raise costs for reproduction. She always pays interest on time. Her top cost sometimes has up to 4 costs. Thanks to rising costs, she has income to buy a vehicle and rebuild a solid house. I borrowed 20 billion Vietnam dong from the Bank for Social Policies, then 30 billion Vietnam dong. The third time was 50 billion Vietnam dong. When the herd of cows had 4 cows, they gave birth at once and made a lot of profit to raise children and buy a vehicle for them to work. I built and repaired houses, selling a lot of cows. I also pay a lot of interest each time, 1 million or 500,000 Vietnam dong. There are disabled households like Miss from Thanh Thuy, who lives in Quarter War 1. She has difficulty working and has poor health. Thanks to referential capital, she opened a grocery store, pay interest always on time. The first time she borrowed 30 billion Vietnam dong. This time she was considered to borrow an additional 100 million Vietnam dong to increase the amount of goods and expand the sales counter. I suffered polio and had no health. Previously, she worked on processed goods. After the company was dissolved, seeing that I needed a lot of capital, I asked for the loan to add more goods, renovate and expand the shop. Over the past 10 years, the Bank for Social Policies has also coordinated with party committees, local authorities, and social political organizations to be interested to improve the quality of social policy-related activities. Socio-political organizations integrate strategic programs with agricultural, fishery, industrial promotion programs, and transfer of science and technology into production, helping borrowers use capital effectively. After 10 years of implementing Directive Number 40, we can confirm that this is the correct directive of the party and state to meet the aspirations of the people. Up to now, the total outstanding debt in World War I has reached more than 40.1 billion Vietnam dong. Credit scale is expanded, credit quality is increasingly improved. There is no overdue debt in the area, down 100% compared to 2014. After 10 years of implementing Directive Number 40 of Secretariat, it has continued to affirm the role and position of the Bank for Social Policies as an important tool in the cause of poverty reduction, ensuring social security, actively contributing to the implementation of national targets programs and socio-economic development programs in many localities.
And that's all for today, TTV News. Thank you for being with us, and goodbye for now.